Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So I am back again with another Alliance War video, and this one is up against TCN. There is obviously going to be tons of massive defenders, and I actually do get to tackle quite a few mini bosses. Unfortunately, in section 1, a teammate of mine kind of stole the fight from me, but that's fine because I still have plenty left over. So I'm going to be entering this war with 3 6-stars, all ascended: Valkyrie, Havoc, and Onslaught. And I was meant to do the second fight in section 1 on path 9, but my teammate kind of went ahead and tackled that. Then I am going back to path 9 for section 2, and that is going to start out a bit rocky. This war is a war where I do get my first death of the season, which is super annoying because it also happened in kind of a preventable and annoying circumstance, without doubt. But after that, there will still be some interesting fights, to say the least. Right, so this is the Destroyer, and I actually kind of really get annoyed fighting this guy, especially on some node combinations. And here as well, so it's Hazard Shift, and obviously this is Hazard Shift, Shock, and Bleed. Can't really hit him in the Bleed phase, because Havoc's not bleed immune, and I'm going to be using Havoc for this fight. Now that I think about it, I could have potentially, or should have potentially, used Onslaught for this. But hey, either way, we're going to be going in with Havoc, and I will apply the mutant power boosts, and we are boosting as we can right now. And the plan is fairly simple, get in some heavy attacks, get some shocks on me, do a ton of damage, get level 3, and nuke. But seeing this is a rank 3 destroyer, things might not turn out as easy for me. There's also power focus 2 node on this, which means that he's going to be power focus 1, which means he's going to be gaining a lot of power when I'm trying to bait out level 1s, because his combat power rates increase. And obviously he's a Mystic champion, and that's where the crucial error of this fight is going to start. So I start off with a heavy attack, knowing that I'm going to get some shocks on myself immediately, which is going to put up, plasmas on him. So I'm doing the plasma detonate damage, I'm doing the feedback damage, which is fine. And I'm just trying to bait out level 1, whilst the bleed phase is on from Hazard Shift. Now that is my mistake here, that I should have been hitting his block more. And I should have worried about spacing more, because here I am baiting out the level 1s, and he doesn't really willingly throw them, to a point where I quite quickly get cornered. And now the bleed phase is back on, and there I do make a small misstep, but luckily I do not get punished for it. But I am cornered, and here he goes in for a combo in me. My health's not looking great. I try to dex the heavy attack, I fail, he gets into level 2, and I eat it. That is, well, not great, to be frank. So this is my first death of the season, and it all could have easily been avoided if I just didn't get cornered, or I possibly could have avoided it if I used my level 3 to nuke him down. I did not know whether it's going to kill him, and that's what got me in trouble, because I wanted to play it safe. I wanted to bait out that level 1 and then activate my level 3, which in the hindsight definitely was a mistake. So this is 100% not a matchup issue, not an officer issue. It's me that's the problem here. So now I know exactly what I did wrong. As soon as I got cornered, I realized that I should have just been worried about positioning and spacing more and not get cornered, and that is exactly what I'm going to be trying to do here. Basically, whenever the bleed phase is on, what you want to do is hit his block as much as possible in order to push him back, not get cornered, and then life's better. Take this fight a bit slower. Even if I do get intercept like this here, it's not the end of the world. Destroyer's base damage is quite pathetic for the most part. And yeah, there's just not much really else to it. I should have been doing this from the start. It's absolutely my fault, and then finished fight with level 3. So the only consolation here is that when I was starting my fight, I already knew that we have likely lost this war, so I didn't beat myself over too much. This wasn't a decisive death, so to speak, but that's a small consolation if you think about it. Right, now we're going to be going up with Valkyrie against Jessica Jones, and this is a Hazard Shift fight, but it's fairly straightforward here, nothing crazy. Valkyrie is a clarity attacker as well, so Later on, I will not have to worry about evades as long as I have clarity charges, as I keep gaining buffs, and Valkyrie's, combo count that she gains by hitting into the block also counts towards the clarity nodes. So for most part, it's a very straightforward fight with Valkyrie. Just hit Jessica's block in order to avoid hazard ship debuffs and then get a level 2 and nuke it. Don't get cornered. That's like the one thing as well that's quite important here. At some point, ideally, you do want to reverse the combo as well. Here I do get a couple of hits in directly to Jessica. I don't even remember actually if I reverse my combo in this fight. Maybe I do, but I definitely know that I do it in one of the Valkyrie's fights. But in general, it's fairly straightforward stuff. Now that I have 3 pierces, I'm starting to do bleeds on block as well, which significantly improves my damage output here. And since Valkyrie is exclusively hitting the block, Jessica Jones isn't gaining particularly much power, so there aren't many specials to be baited out either. And life's quite good. So I just want to get to my level 2 here, which I will in a second. Get that extra passive pierce as well. There are those weaknesses on me, but that's nothing too crazy. And now she's at 6%, so a couple hits in a block and done. That is Ascended Valkyrie as well. Next up, I have 3 mini boss fights to tackle. The first one is going to be the Sasquatch, then we're going to have the Werewolf, and then we're going to have the Quicksilver. So against the Sasquatch, again, I'm just double checking that I'm not teleporting wrong, making sure that I got to the right mini boss island first. And I'm going to be using Onslaught for this fight. I was kind of considering whether to use Onslaught. No, wait, I was considering whether to use Onslaught or Havoc for the Werewolf fight. But this fight is definitely Onslaught because of right back at it node. So whenever it's Ebb and Flow knockdown and right back at it, which actually makes it for a quite tricky proposition to deal with the Sasquatch, given how tanky he is, given that there's going to be lots of protection involved, and you can't really rely on debuffs. Now, the cool thing, obviously, about Onslaught is that his Neuroshocks are passives, and with that in mind, we can see Onslaught here just basically not care about the right back at it node as much, at the very least, because Neuroshocks still can be saved, still can be paused, and they are passives, in fact. So here I chain my level 1 with the heavy attack. I know that protection is still on, but obviously the main thing is just to get the Neuroshocks going and effectively try and push him to level 2s. Here I get scared because with a couple of prowesses only, that level 1 crit for so much. So there I immediately got a little bit scared. But here I chain in my relic, go for a heavy attack. And I should have activated my level 2 immediately here, but that's fine. Just kind of making it slower for myself. Still make it in time, but unfortunately, I will not have enough time to pause the degen, so I'm going to have to kind of like rebuild it again. It happens. It's not the ideal first loop that I wanted here in between level 1 and level 2. Definitely need to kind of like be a bit more comfortable with the spacing and know exactly what I try to do in this fight, and that is quite simple and clear to me now. What I have to try to do is obviously push him to level 2s as much as possible, because those are super easy to punish with a heavy attack. And then once that is done, I just need to maintain my Neuroshocks and then go for the degens and try and pause them as well. Obviously, having the Fury active as much as possible is super important, but that kind of comes with the knockdown part of the job. So here again, bait out level 2, pause everything. I'm at level 2 myself. He dashes in at me. I activate my level 2, get 14 degens that are starting out paused. And here I'm going to get to pause them again, thanks to the relic. And the degens are doing the job. And at this point, I just need to kind of like let him tick away, wait out the Wrath phase, and push him to level 2. I should not have probably activated this level 1, but I figured it might as well just about kill him, and that does. So aside from that one level 1, which crit for a ton of damage, this was actually a fairly smooth fight. Quite liked it. That mistake of getting smacked by that level 1 there. Now, we're going to have to deal with Werewolf, which is going to be this next clip. And here I was definitely deciding in between using Havoc or Onslaught, because you can technically do this fight with both, but it's not like super easy with either of the champions. Because even with Onslaught, you cannot attack in both phases because one of the hazard shift parts here is poison. So I do not want to get too many poisons on me. On top of everything else, it's full moon. And unfortunately, he started with a medium attack, and I got double raptures on me from the very beginning, which is annoying. But Incinerates do kind of overload Onslaught, which is super helpful, which means I don't need to rely on my level 2s as much. Yeah, in this fight, one of the important things as well is not to get cornered. And I was working on spacing here a little bit. I should have had it down because I have done this fight before, but I got confused a bit. And here I waste my invul boost and eat a few hits from level 1 and actually get parried as well. But luckily, Onslaught's obviously medium is non-contact. So I do get the pause here, which is great. And he's unstoppable here. And at this point, I kind of got slightly worried. But we're going to fight our way out of this corner. And we're just going to do what's expected of us, even though this fight does not look too great for me in this very specific moment. But now he's out of his damage mode, and he's back down to 0 charges of anything. I get a solid pause in, and he has 18 neuroshocks, so his health is draining away. And I have gotten more comfortable with animations. Now, here I do get to activate my level 1 with the wrong hazard shift phase on, but I still have health and I'm still hanging in there. He has 34, 33 neuroshocks. And here the main thing is, push him away as far as possible. Do not get cornered and, use that incinerate phase as much as possible. Here I actually wanted to hit his block and get some spacing, but, Werewolf notoriously does not like to hold his block. So just pause the neuroshocks and go for level 1 in the block here in order not to get cornered. I did throw this one in the block on purpose because you still apply all the neuroshocks and debuffs. And we still managed to survive this one. This one was fairly close. Again, not necessarily play the best, but I did kind of gather myself and avoided getting pummeled in the corner by Werewolf. And next up, obviously, a rank 3 7-star Quicksilver. Man, these guys used to be a lot less scary when they were 6-star rank 5s, 6-star rank 5 ascendeds. So it's return policy, and in general, this fight's again typical Valkyrie fight. I just want to hit his block, and that's just about it. There will be a couple of hiccups, but the crucial thing here in this fight definitely was that I do want to and have to invert my combo as well in order to be able to shrug off all the debuffs better, because I will be getting some of those. Here we can see that I do get parried, which was bad, and I need to deal with their weight as well. But here I'm parrying him on purpose to get rid of some of the withers. Obviously, willpower healing is actually going to be super helpful for this. But now that I have a clarity charge, I can be a lot more confident and comfortable striking Quicksilver. And he only uses half the amount of power whenever he activates special attack. So even though Valkyrie is not giving him much power, I'm still going to end up, having to dodge quite a few level 1s. And now that I have 3 pierce charges, I do want to invert my combo, which I do right now. And then I'm going to be going for the 3 bulwark charges for the safety, as well as also having the better shrug of capabilities. And stun immunity, should I happen to get parried again, of course. Right. So at this point, past this point here, everything is fairly straightforward. Only thing that I want to do is hit his block, accidentally hit a heavy attack. That heavy attack is super fast. That heavy attack is what got me worried, because I was definitely losing the health race at that point. But now we're not. Now I do take one more detonation and I go for my level 1, and that just about finishes out the fight. So definitely not this smooth. To be fair, only danger in this fight came because I ate that heavy attack. And that's it. Those are my fights. So I did unfortunately die, but I did have some quite exciting and interesting fights for sure. And with this season, I'm going to be trying to get into better MCOC fighting shape in Alliance Wars, take more fights, as well as in Battlegrounds. So definitely look forward to that. But that's it for this video. Unfortunately, we do not have the greatest start of the season, but there's plenty of season to be played. Let me know, guys, how are you enjoying the new tactic, and I'll catch you guys soon. Bye-bye. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information